Hi everyone, back again. I wanted to come back on and talk about polarity again. Um, I don't know, I just had trouble sleeping last night and I was scrolling through YouTube as I do, and I was watching a lot of beautiful posts and sentiments and videos in regards to healing the earth needs healing, humanity needs healing at the moment, and which is all very beautiful. But I can't help but go back to talking about polarity again, and maybe all this, the collective trying to heal. Are we just creating a stronger polarity between healing and trauma? If you caught my video before about dismantling polarity, I should say, I talked about how you can't have good without bad, and you can't have right without wrong. So we can't have healing without trauma. And what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Did the trauma come first and then the healing, or the need for heal to come and then the trauma? Probably there was an origins of trauma that needed healing to start off with, but these days, is the collective energy for wanting to heal greater than the people perpetrating the trauma? Because if we think about the world on a global scale, how many billions of people there are, and you could say that there's only a small fraction of people who are out there for bad intentions to cause mischief and destruction out of greed and disharmony within themselves and anger or whatever, land rights, business, money, politics, whatever it is. There is billions of other people who just want basic needs, safety and security, education for their family, and healing. So this great energy pool of the collective for this healing, is it, in the world we have this balance, good and bad. So if we all want this healing, are we creating more destruction to have that balance? That's the question I was contemplating last night, and it really sticks with me. And I don't think there's a right or a wrong answer for this, but I think it's just a great philosophical question to be asking ourselves. Are we creating more disharmony by trying to create harmony? And go back to my other video, where is neutrality the answer? And nothing is good, nothing is bad, it just is. If we stop reacting to things, because the reaction is just a mere internal trauma of our own childhood, of not feeling safe, secure, connected, liked, loved, held enough, whatever. By reacting to the global trauma and feeling so passionate about healing the world, because we can relate to it as that child who never felt safe and secure. Like, are we just ultimately creating this energy, this overwhelming energy of this need to heal, and therefore perpetrating more war and trauma? And this is a hard question to pose, because it ultimately puts the ownership back onto us. We want positivity and we want what's good for the world. But, is it a catch-22? Are we actually creating this ourselves? And are we creating this ourselves to be triggered as well? Because I know through my experience and what I've been taught through other spiritual healers and shamans and so forth, is that your shadow is your shadow attributes, so your fear, shame, guilt, blame, anger, hate, all that, we get triggered constantly on purpose to overcome, to work through, to recognize that this disharmony still exists within us. So if we're not willing to look at the disharmony within us, and we're just focusing on the healing, then is the trauma going to get more and more severe until we get triggered to the point where we just have a meltdown and we actually go seek the help that we need? Yeah. I get triggered all the time in the slightest little way. I had a brief text message conversation with my sister this morning, and after I got off, I felt quite triggered, and it was just such a slight text message that she requested. And I didn't think of it at the time, but when I finished that conversation, I was like, oh wow, that was actually quite triggering. And I've gotten to the point where I can recognize these things now, and I can take this small little cue from the universe and unravel it, recognize it, transform it and release it. But knowing from what I can hear from other people and seeing other people's reactions, I can understand how a lot of other people need big kick in the butt kind of examples to show the disharmony within, for them to really want to kind of feel triggered enough to want to sort things out. Yeah. Anyway, it's a big topic to talk about. I like topics like this. I like questioning things. I like not knowing the answer to things. I think that's why I ended up calling myself Cat Y. It's like, why? Why is anything like this? There is another reason why my channel name is Cat Y, and that's because my full name is Catherine and my surname starts with a Y. And there's always like a running joke in our family when you're speaking to people over the phone, you have to spell out your name, and you always start spelling it with saying Y. And it's the funniest thing. The people on the phone always process it as a W, as if like they're spelling Y. And when we get, let's say you're talking to the phone company and then you get the phone bill in the mail, my surname starts with a W instead of a Y. Anyway, so ages ago I started using the alias name of Cat Y, and I just think it's so fitting now because I love having these conversations. I love asking the big topics. I love looking at things from a bird's eye view. I'm in the position now with the luxury of not being caught up in the small ideas of the hurt and the suffering and the blame. I'm able to really rise above a situation and see all the moving parts to the jigsaw puzzle. You can start to see how you got all these jigsaw puzzle pieces, and they slowly move in, and they kind of make sense. You can kind of make out the edges and the parts which make up the sky or the land, and whatever the picture might be. So it's become, I think one of my favorite things is to contemplate big and pose the questions to allow others to think as well. And we're not going to answer this today. And maybe there isn't an answer, and that's awesome as well. So anyway, food for thought. Have a think about it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Yeah, you don't have to be for or against this, but just have a think about it. Because we're all just here trying to work out what is the key to this human experience, what is the essence, like how does this all make sense? Because it's a pretty crazy concept, humanity, the human experience. So anyway, I'll leave you on that note, and yeah, thank you for spending the time with me. I much appreciate this co-creation of unconditional love. And my heart goes out, my heart goes out to all the citizens around the world who are caught up in conflict of any type, whether it's the current war, which is highly publicized at the moment, or the ongoing wars that are continuously going on globally and in our own backyards and in our hearts with our closest relationships. So, you know, many blessings to everyone, and everyone is unconditionally loved in their own way. So thank you. All right, bye now.